ladies with an attitude.
Welcome to the Heaven online magazine. It's May, this is the LWA, and we're live at the Hyst. Joining me on tonight's panel are the GC, Gemma Collins, Christy Heaven, and the Emma Heaven. Right, now tonight's topic came about when I was scrolling through Facebook and noticed that my mother had answered another one of these really stupid questions where you just think, hasn't she got anything better to do than answer this? But I pinched the question, Mother. And the question was, what death of a famous person upset, shocked, or devastated you the most? So, well, my mother answered, I think, what everybody would instantly say in the room, Princess Diana. Yeah, I think, are we all in agreement? Yeah, Princess Diana. Yeah, we can all remember where we were when she died, and it was an absolute shock. So she's my number one on my list. So I'm going to come to Gemma, who makes her debut on the panel tonight. She's looking a little worried.
Yeah, I'm scared for all of you. Oh my gosh.
So give us a name.
Rod Hull.
Oh, Rod Hull and Emu, yay!
Yes, mainly because I think that you just don't think that you'd find somebody like that on a roof tampering with aerials. And the fact that he took not just himself out, but he killed Emu as well. So it was like a 2-in-1. Well, yeah, you know. So that was Emu dead as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe he should have gone with like cable TV.
Yeah. He had enough money as well to pay somebody else to do it. Yeah, what do you do it? Yeah.
Yeah, why was he up there?
Why was you up on the roof? Yeah.
What are you doing?
Bit silly there, Rod.
Yes, so Rod Hull.
Rod Hull's one for you. Marvellous. Okay. Brace yourself, ladies. Christy.
Steve Irwin.
Oh, yes!
So, I don't know if like everyone else, but I grew up watching Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Like, I would watch his documentaries, I would watch him in Sydney Zoo in Australia. Like, I would watch everything to do with Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
And then when I found out how, like, not that he died, but how he died, it was just like, that was just a complete shock. And it was like, even though he died what he loved doing, it was just like, wow, that's how it happened. Like, you just never, he was like an immortal, like, and you felt that he was immortal because he was like battling crocs, and
but
he was like,
you thought
he was invincible.
If they
and
said,
like,
you know, Steve Irwin dies, was eaten by crocodile,
you could understand. Yeah, but it was just like, it was such a shock that it was a stingray, and that it was like, it was such a surprise and like such a shock to me when you see him on TV and you're like, oh, he's fine, Steve Irwin, he'll be here for years. But that was a real big shock for me.
Right, okay. So might go again now, isn't it? I've got loads. I have. I was like, oh, and this one and this one. My next one was Ayrton Senna, the Formula 1 driver, and that was such a shock because we actually watched it live on TV, which was just wow, you know. As I said, he was, and they were just into the race, only a few laps in, and his steering column went at 170 mile an hour, and he just ploughed straight into a brick wall, and was, well, they said he was dead on impact, but when you're watching it live on TV, you know, and you could see him, he wasn't moving in the car, and then they stretchered him onto the helicopter and everything. And I think it took about 6 hours to announce that he was dead then, but as I said, it was a horrible crash. So that wasn't good. That was a big shock, that one. So that's one of mine. It was sad, it was. Yeah. It really was. Because he was, ironically, we all hated him because we always wanted Nigel Mansell to win, you know, so everybody hated Ayrton Senna, but as I said, to watch him die then was really shitty. So
Alive.
Yeah,
you know? Alive, they're not alive.
Yeah. So, coming back to you, Gemma, another one that you shocked at?
I know. loads of people that have died and I can't think.
She can't think.
Come
See,
back to
that's why it helps to write them down. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, you'll have to. You'll have to.
Christy.
Yes.
Robin Williams.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, and it's one of those childhood things. It's when you lose someone from your childhood that it impacts you the most. And, you know, I grew up with Mrs. Doubtfire, the Genie,
Yeah.
you know, Robin Williams was there in the film Hook.
Peter Pan.
Hook, like those films are like so iconic. And when you lose someone and then you go back and watch those films, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he is gone.
Yeah.
And like such a happy person in film was not such a happy person behind the scenes. And it was just like, that was the shock that you learned that someone...
I know, and we're always shocked with celebrities, even though we don't know them, we've never met them, but you just feel it, you know, going on about actors. Alan Rickman.
Yeah, that's another one,
Professor Snape, you know, that was just...
Yeah.
that was just a shock, wasn't
It
it?
was.
Yeah. And talking about Harry Potter, I mean, I cannot believe she killed off Albus Dumbledore. I mean, that's just absolutely criminal, you know. Why? You know, don't you just feel like asking her why?
Yeah.
Such sad.
I mean, she killed off half the characters, really. All the ones you wanted to, survive.
But I remember taking the boys to the cinema to watch this film. It was the Half-Blood Prince, wasn't it? And my youngest son, Oliver, was quite young and he needed a booster seat. So it was one of those plastic ones now. And obviously we knew Dumbledore was going to die because we've read the books. So Dumbledore dies now, and as he's falling off the tower, it's dead silence, and the film goes really, really quiet as well. And it was at that point Oliver decided to do the loudest fart known to man. On a plastic booster seat, and it was just, you could just imagine the sound all around the cinema. And Jack was eating his fist, so was I, trying not to laugh. But then the row in front of us started laughing, then the row in front of them, and Albus Dumbledore died, and the whole cinema are all pissing themselves laughing. I'll always remember Albus Dumbledore
It's
dying.
coming back to me. I've sort of remembered now. Right.
Right, have we got one?
Yes.
Oh, you just
it's
can't get
no,
the
no,
panelists these days.
It's not it's a famous person to us, I believe. You know, it's not a celebrity as such. T. Cozy Pete. Because he was such a figure, you know, everyone knew of him. He never bothered with anyone. He just kept himself to himself.
Yeah.
He was a proud man. And I think that when he died, you know, a little bit of everyone went, you know, because everyone did sort of respect him.
Yeah.
Nobody looked at him as he was a bad person. He just wanted to live his life that way.
Yeah.
And he didn't ever ask for money. He didn't ask for anything.
No.
He was happy as he was. And I think that when he went, it was a bit of a jolt.
Yeah, it was a shock to see him.
And I'm glad that people sort of remember him.
Yeah.
And I know that, for instance, in a venue not very far from here, there's an art piece which is at the very top of the stairs.
Yeah.
Somebody's painted
A
something.
mural,
And they've put a few words to it. And I think that's quite a nice thing for him to be remembered that way.
Definitely.
Yes.
Right, let's go on to the music section then. Pop stars. So I've got a few. Freddie Mercury, obviously, that was a huge, huge shock. George Michael. Yeah.
Yes.
Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Prince. Yeah. All died.
Big stars.
Way too young and
Too
way
soon.
before their time.
Yep.
Whitney Houston anymore? Can we think of?
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse, yeah.
And she was just getting back on track and
Yeah.
trying to sort things out. And I think that she died from alcohol related,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
it was an alcohol thing, you know. I think
Yeah.
that she was trying to help herself by getting out of a situation. And I think that it was the alcohol that killed her in the end.
yeah. David Bowie.
Oh, yeah.
I know that was another really, really sad one, isn't it? I
Yeah.
know, and you, as I said, you read the paper and you're like, oh my God, so-and-so's dead. Or you don't even have to read the paper anymore, you just go on
look at
Facebook.
Facebook.
And there's thousands of messages of outpouring from, you know, of grief from people that they've never met.
Yeah.
Really bizarre.
It
So have we
is.
got any more celebrities?
Terry Nutkins.
Yeah.
The Really Wild Show.
Oh, no.
I once called my ex Terry Nutkins because he was losing his hair, and I know that Terry Nutkins was bald. So I said something like, "Listen now, Terry Nutkins," you know, as a term of like, not even niceness. It was just an insult. But yeah, Terry Nutkins. He was a right cool guy.
Yeah.
And then he died. And then a year or so later, after he died, came up on Facebook again, but I hadn't noticed the date. And I'd sort of forgotten, having ADHD, I just totally forgot he died. And then I was upset again. He was like a double. And then I thought, oh, I know he's dead. You know, sort of like dropped back into my mind. I was like, oh God, I can't believe I've actually got upset. You know, like a double upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
Going on to a controversial section now, Christy. Disney. Mufasa. What were they thinking when they killed Mufasa?
But the thing, the Lion King is based around Hamlet. So like, Mufasa had to die because that's the story of Hamlet.
Oh, but it was terrible.
I know,
But
but...
explain to a 6-year-old that his favourite character is going to cark it in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, that was, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know, Disney have pulled some really naughty ones over the years, haven't they?
I get...
Bambi.
Yeah, I was going to say Bambi.
I think the Disney films that I don't like are the ones that characters have died in.
For example?
Like Bambi. I don't like Bambi. I don't like Fox and the Hound. I don't like those kinds of originals where, like, you know, they're kind of boring. Whereas, like, it's all fun now.
Yeah, no deaths,
So Frozen and Elsa and let it go.
Yeah.
So have we got any more? Can you think of any more?
Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
And recently Peter Mayhew, who played
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca recently died as well.
yeah.
So I think it's, again, it comes back to those legendary people who are such a part of your childhood, and then you feel, oh, you know, they're gone.
And it's so sad with Carrie Fisher because, as I said, she hadn't finished filming the third film of the latest franchise, and you're like, oh.
How do you feel about films, CGI putting people who are bringing them back? Because I felt really awkward about it because they did it in Star Wars with one of the generals.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't. I feel really strange when they almost like reincarnate people who have passed on with CGI.
But it wasn't all CGI. It was an actor from Holby City.
Oh, I see.
He plays Henrik Hansen, so they kind of used his face and a little bit of CGI then to create it. But yeah, apparently she is in the third film, From Beyond the Grave. Yeah. Thanks to CGI. Yeah. And she's back. So, any others that we can think of? Because we've had quite a few. As I said, we've gone from
I think,
royalty to music royalty. I mean, you're never going to...
Dirty Den. He sort of died, but then he didn't die, did he? He came back. It was like
that was
the
just bad script writing. That was
I
as bad as Dallas. Can you remember that? The whole series
I know.
where Bobby
It was like,
Ewan
what is
dead?
going on? Surely they could like write up another story. They had to bring him back.
Patrick Swayze from Dirty Dancing. Now that was a shock, wasn't it? That was sad. Such a gorgeous looking man, wasn't he? So.
If you want to talk about Game of Thrones, let's get a list out. Start ticking them off.
Oh, never seen Game of Thrones.
No, neither have I.
I'm probably the 1% of the population that hasn't seen Game of Thrones. So,
everyone dies, basically. Everyone.
Okay, so to sum up then, we were sad about Princess Di, Freddie Mercury, Ayrton Senna, Mufasa, David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Prince, Michael Jackson, T. Cozy Pete.
Yes, T. Cozy Pete and
Steve
Amy
Irwin.
Winehouse.
Steve Irwin.
And what was my
Who else?
Who
Princess Leia.
Rod Hull.
And I don't think you'll ever be able to watch Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince without thinking of my son farting in the cinema when Albus Dumbledore died. And on that note, ladies, I think we're going to end tonight's discussion. So could you please give a huge round of applause to Gemma Collins?
Thank you.
Christy Heather.